Hi everyone, I'm Judhotep, the Goddess Astrologer and Alchemical Initiatrix. We're going to get into the chart for today. This is the Light Goddess Astrology Daily for June 7th, 2022, Tuesday. Hope you are doing amazing. So really powerful stuff going on. Mars is at 9 degrees, nearing that Chiron. And the Mars energy, all this Aries energy is about that initiation, taking action, but it's about taking aligned action on your products, on your projects and in your business, about really being on your intuition and taking action from an intuitive place, from that deep spiritual place, because there's a septile from Saturn at 25 degrees in Aquarius to Chiron at 15 degrees in Aries. And that septile is this otherworldly energy. It is very much unique energy. It is Uranus type energy. It's very much that higher octave and spirit saying that we're not doing anything in the old paradigm. We're not doing anything the old ways. This is new earth. And with the Saturn being at 25 degrees, it's getting a lot of support from Neptune at 25 degrees, are both spiritual degrees, a 7. And it's really talking about that deep spiritual soul life and coming from that soul place. And so there is this energy with Saturn being in Aquarius is about innovating how you think life should be. So all of the structures are crumbling, right? In society, and all of the ways that we used to do things, money, finance, all of these things are happening, but they're happening for the better, because Saturn takes away what no longer can serve us, what no longer is bringing us to that higher place, and what is not functioning well, what's been functioning at the lowest octave for a very long time, right? And so it's this energy of Aquarius is innovation. It's the unique way to do something. It's new. It is not doing things the same old status quo that has been going on for a long time, suppressing the feminine, suppressing people being suppressed in society and not living and not standing in their power as human, right? As a soul in a body. And with Pluto here in Capricorn, in these last degrees of Capricorn and this cardinal earth sign, it's very much about our earthly structures, our earthly ways of things, how things are made and built. And it's the mountains. It's our actual institutions, banking, and the way we do things. And with Saturn being in Aquarius, saying that we're not doing anything the old way, we're also not working in the old way. So the way you see work and what motivated you to work, motivated by money or motivated by prestige or power, instead motivated from your soul, from that creation of creating something, guiding humanity out of fear and into love consciousness, into greater consciousness, and not being in that old industrial era way of thinking, not being in the malignant masculine and the toxicity. And so in that Pluto energy is really the destruction and the death. And with it being in retrograde, it's been giving us a lot of information about what has needed changed, what is changing. It's the hell realm. So it's going into that deep subconscious, and everyone is facing their shadow. They're facing their shadow around money. They're facing their shadow around everything that money touches, which is all of our lives. That survival being conflated with money when it should be pulled apart. It's not. Our survival isn't in question. It's really based on following your intuition, your heart, to create in this life. We are meant to create. We're not meant to destroy and to create death. All this Mars energy can very much be the egos out there, can be that malignant, toxic Mars energy of egos and people honking and people screaming and upset and not knowing how to channel that Mars energy into creation, into following their heart. And so make sure that you are aware of the way people are driving, what people are doing around you, and just stay out of the dramas and the psychodramas. Let me just move this here. This moon today will come out of Virgo and it will go into, let me just see here. No. And tomorrow it will go into Libra. And this Virgo moon is very much, can be like nitpicky. It can be kind of like really detail focused. And so realize that it is going to make an opposition today to Neptune, to our soul. And so we're getting a lot of emotional information on what is not really working, how we're not listening, hearing, feeling into our soul's calling, feeling into what our intuition has to say. And there's a lot of Gemini energy, there's a lot of mental energy spinning around. And so realize that it's okay to have all those ideas floating around. And we're going to have more and more Gemini energy this month. But just only the ones that really matter will land, and they'll stick with you, and they're meant to be. And so allowing this North Node and Lilith stepchild today to bring in the areas. Lilith is about your personal sexual power. It is about the suppressed anger. It is about where you've been subservient, and it is about resolving those things, so that that's where your highest amount of power that you can bring in is. And so with Lilith and Cancer for the world, it's about emotions, the divine feminine, the mother, and how the mother was taken during goddess times, and women were enslaved, and the effeminate men were taken as slaves, and the men were killed. And by these roving bands, we were living in an egalitarian society where men and women were equal, and where the goddess was worshipped, women were revered, not over men, but just revered for them bringing life through their being. And there was much more reverence for life. Fear was nearly eradicated. There was no need for weapons. That's why they weren't able to defend themselves. There wasn't need for it. They didn't live in that way. And so we have to realize that where we've been subservient is allowing our power to be taken because of our fear that we're going to lose what we need to survive, fear that things are going to be taken away, or that we're not going to have people in our lives or friends or have what we need. They're all very subconscious. It's all very subliminal. And so it's really seeing where you're acting from fear and moving into that heart space, and to move into that place where you are motivated from creation, from love, from life, from believing in the good in life. And believing in the good in life cannot feel safe sometimes when we really come through the darkness and come through the shadow and really challenging times. So it's about healing that. This Jupiter in Aries is about belief. Jupiter is positive, it's optimistic, it's happy, and it expands, and it's the Christmas tree, and it's like, hey, like, let's be optimistic here, let's get on this journey and have some fun. And then Aries, another fire sign, so it's double fire. And it is like belief that when you get knocked down, you just get back up, but you don't have your beliefs kind of dinged every time. And that's where that healing is, where those triggers are, where the healing is to be done. It's so beautiful to know where the hell to go in, what the heck to heal, right? And so there's a lot of oppositions and squares from this South Node today to Saturn and to Uranus and Mercury, asking us, like, what are we thinking about? Are we living in the wound in our mind? Or are we healing any wounds that need to be healed? Are we living in that psychologizing, black and white, polarized place? Or are we in that deep intimacy with ourselves and our needs and our healing journey and our spiritual journey? And with the opposition to Uranus, it's about that, innovation, about that uniqueness, and bringing the uniqueness of who you are forward, being you as fuck, and not being somebody else, being who you think you're supposed to be to fit in, to belong, not being who you think you have to be, being truly, deeply yourself, your deep self. And who are the people that you can really be real with, that you can be in that deep self with? And who are the people where you have to be some other kind of way? Why are those people there? What's going on there? And with that square to Saturn, there is questions about, like, are you innovating what you think about work, what you think about commitments and discipline, and how that all works? Are you living on that old paradigm of of industrial era values and views on things? This is new life. This is a new paradigm. So make sure you're definitely acting from that heart space, bring in that creativity and that positivity, and believing in this good is so important. What's in the way of that? Where are the blocks at? Those blocks are telling you either there's a closed door, there's something much better that Spirit is asking you to look at, that you're giving yourself duties that you don't need to take on, actually. When you feel those blocks, go where the flow is. And it's also telling you where there's healing needed. So we have cycles. Remember the cyclical renewal, that we come through the darkness always back to the light, that there's always a full moon after the dark moon. We're heading up to this full moon now on the 14th. And being in those deep feminine rhythms, like understanding divine timing over the ego's pushing masculine timing, and like, I just got to do it, I got to strive. You know, that Mars energy can be really heavy. We have to channel that Mars energy into feminine intuitive creation. Realizing that to honor your body's natural rhythms, to not caffeine up when you're tired, let yourself have that solitude and stop scrolling, and actually go read the book that you've been wanting to read, or go give yourself time in nature, in the garden, or dig your hands in the dirt, and stop doing the false pleasures and do real pleasure. And get into your body, dance, move. What classes have you been taking? What have you been wanting to learn? Have you been wanting to paint or to sculpt? You know, really playing, and allow yourself that play and that joy that the feminine needs. Partnership. This is about connecting with those true soul partnerships, and the people that can really love the true you, who you really are, and really appreciate who you are, who really value similar values, and not having friends because you have the same kids in the same class, or not having friends because you're neighbors, but having friends because you really click at a deep soul level. The partnerships in business that you can connect. Maybe you know marketing and they know website design, and you can trade. Or maybe you need coaching and they know marketing. You know, that freedom, that liberation from the way you think it has to be in your mind, that is keeping you really suppressed and really unhappy, instead of allowing it to flow of what it really is. Like, maybe you can have a different kind of breakfast. Maybe you can, you know, these are the littler things, but it applies to the big stuff. But when we think it has to be, our schedules have to be a certain way, or we have to do things by a certain time, or we have to do things, get so much done in 1 week, we underestimate how much we can get done in a year, and overestimate what we can accomplish in a week. Really understanding that we have all these have-tos on ourselves. We have all these handbooks for the way we think we should be living, and we're judging ourselves so harshly, instead of allowing ourselves to be on this really divine timing that's way more beautiful than our egos can imagine. Being in the adventure, this horse, this unicorn's head is down running. Being on the adventure, run towards the adventure, move into that happiness, move to a new location. Like, what's the place that feeds your soul? Maybe you've been working at the same coffee shop forever. Maybe you've been walking the same trail forever. Maybe you've been going to the same gym. It's time to mix it up. It's time to do what you haven't been doing. It's time to do new things. It's not the old ways. It's never going back the way it was before. And it's time to really live from this new story and this beautiful new life. We have balance. Balance is about that inner balance. It's not about having some facade of balance on the outside. It's about that deep inner balance that you know when you're off and you know when you're on. What do you need? Do you need more rest? Are you giving yourself enough rest? As women, we are often so out of our bodies. You could be in your body and really listening to what she needs. If she needs more rest, or she needs some solitude, or she needs some journaling time, or she needs some creativity or connection or pleasure, or to accomplish. You might really feel like you need to get some stuff done and accomplish right now with all this Aries energy. We have leadership, realizing that you are the guide for humanity, that we are holding hands around the world and leading humanity into higher consciousness, into heart activation. And so really stepping into that claimed leadership can be intimidating, because you think you have to be what the world says success is, or to look a certain way, or to have a certain image. It can be intimidating. So face that intimidation of your leadership. What is blocking you? Where are you feeling intimidated? Where are you feeling scared to step out and be seen as heard, and heard as woman? That's where to go in at. And I'll leave you here for today. Please like this video. It'll help other women to find this. You can book an astrology reading at thegoddessastrologer.com, or by going to the links down below. My Instagram, I pull cards every day. The Light Goddess podcast is up daily, and the sun sign horoscopes are every Monday. So go over there and listen to your sun sign and your rising sign. Check out your family. Sending you lots of love, and I'll talk to you on the next reading.